Hello, it's Jesse here. So right now, I'm just kind of waiting on the Springer to come back from the body shop, get painted. Well, sent out and got it painted. So I'm kind of just laying out my Springer components here, getting them ready for the build when I get it back, so I can put it together into a subassembly. Um, so here we are with the Parkerized springs, with our lower springs or upper springs and internal springs for the lower and lower, or in upper internal springs. And then these are the rod guides. They go in between here and just sit on the spring fork. This is the guide rod. This bolts to that spring fork, and it slides through here. It's a guide. So keep it. There's greasing points and then the spring fork in there, so this thing can actually hold grease in the sides here, and it goes into, there's a little hole in there, so actually greases the inside where the rod glides through. Yeah, that's that. So like I said, this is a Springer fork. There isn't very many. I don't think there's any spring forks that were ever chrome plated originally. So we got Parkerized everything here. Kind of want this bike to look like it should have in 1940, so it's kind of what I got going on here. According to some resources, the rocker studs were cadmium plated, and the nuts on the ends were cadmium plated. This is I removed all this stuff from a nice Colony hardware company kit. They reproduce a lot of these Harley parts really good, high standard, high quality. And what I mean by that is they're not just run-of-the-mill, washer or run-of-the-mill nut out of the out of someplace. They're actual Parkerized nuts. See, back in the day, Harley used to have their own machine shop where they machined their own nuts and stuff until production started getting too crazy to where they couldn't even keep up. So their machine shop wasn't able to provide the parts fast enough, especially when World War II came around, because they put out numbers like crazy in that time period, so they weren't able to keep up. So anything from like 1941 and older, all just were machined. It's like I say here, this is a machined nut, or bolt here, sorry. A machined bolt. And if you can see here, this focus works, there's a little nubbin on the end of it, so you can tell this has been turned down. And then it's got this like built-in washer, a ledge right there. See that? This is what the Harley hardware looked like before 1941. Now what I mean by 42, and like 42 they kind of changed. They started buying some stuff from Chandler Products. So here we got his original bolt. See, we still got the nice turned down washer built into it. But on the head here, it's got a head stamp. CP meaning Chandler Products, which supplied a lot of Harley stuff back in the day. This is a 1035, so that makes this is a 1942 to 19, I don't know, somewhere in the 40s bolt. This is what you'd typically find. You'd still find the machine stuff because they had a bunch of this stuff laying around yet, but Chandler Products was able to make a bunch of stuff for Harley and able to come in high quantities, so they would have the stuff they needed. 1035 was actually the one you'd actually see from 42 to 40. 1035, like I said here. So 1038, that stamp there, the numbers, 1035. So then that would change to 1038 on the later bolts for later bikes. I'm not like getting too carried away with trying to get this bike to be 100% accurate, but and I'm not going to have a judge, so this kind of stuff probably doesn't matter typically to a normal person, but I just feel like I want it to be accurate. And Nobody probably even know anyway, so it doesn't really probably matter. But to me, I just kind of want it to be that way. Like on nuts in particular, they have a built-in machined-in washer here too. So this would be the inside of the nut. The non-machined side, or the non-washer side, would be considered the outside of the nut. So when this goes together, this is towards the item you're fastening it to. So we're going to make sure our nuts are all going the right way. Yeah, so just going to like assemble this stuff together. I keep all my Harley components all in envelopes here. You know, Harley part number, old part number. Of course, this one coincide with today's part numbers, what it is, and then the finish. It's like right here. HD part number, newer part number, dimension of the item, and the finish. So inside here, I got a couple new 1038 CP cadmium plated bolts, which I'm not afraid to use. I'll probably use them on something. But back in the day, there wasn't a lot of cadmium stuff on these bikes back in the day. Certain spots got certain things. So I'll go into detail a little bit more when I'm putting this Springer fork front end together, but I can explain that stuff. But in the meantime, I'm going to just prepare this stuff and group it together. So when I go to put this front end together, it ain't such a freaking disaster to where I'm struggling, you know. So, because I like to take something off and put it back like it was. So, so I know where the stuff was at and where it goes. And then if I have to, I can reference a print sheet or my parts book, and I can figure out where the stuff goes. Of course, I made some notes on here for some of these parts. But yeah, I highlighted the stuff I knew I had to buy or got. So when I got it, I highlighted it off. So then when I eventually got all the components, I knew I had everything. Yeah. All I did was photocopy the parts book, so I didn't like make a bunch of crap notes on that nice book. And yeah, so it's a nice way of doing things, I think. So anyway, just stay tuned. We're going to be moving on to more things with this front end as time progresses. So hello, here I am back again. So yeah, so like I said, I grouped these together like they go, so that way I know how to reference them when I go to put this thing back together. New components here. So yeah, that colony kit was the 7606-26, has everything to rebuild. The rockers on Big Twin Springers from 1931 to 1948. So yeah, so anyway, here's the spring retainers. This is also a colony product here. Cadmium, however you want to pronounce it. These are retainers. They hold the top spring down. They go right at the top here, and then of course it threads onto this rod, and then acorn nut, nice acorn nut right on top, nice chrome acorn nut. Yep, just like that. So I'll be coming up here. We'll be working on that. I was just getting these rockers ready. These are Parkerized, nice original Parkerized ones. See the forging marks. A lot of their reproductions don't have that I've seen have even marks in them. So I'm just tightening these all in here. Nice new cadmium plated grease zerks. That's how they were. according to the books and stuff I've read and some of these pictures. I already got the bearings pressed back, new bearings pressed back in them from that Colony kit. They come with bearings also, so it's kind of a little chore to do that. So because of the fact that you need two hands, so I can't video record very well. So I'll probably end up setting this stuff off to the side now, and kind of hopefully this next week or so I can get my Springer back. So that's some notes here. I'm gonna talk about some stuff. So with this restoration on my 40 UH, I'm just kind of wanting to get it close back to original looking of a 40 UH as I can, with exceptions of some modifications along the way. I'll be going over those as I build this thing. It's kind of just like some of these videos is just kind of like a journal for me anyway. Yeah, I'm posting them and for other people to enjoy and maybe learn something too. Some of these videos I have my father talking, and because he knows a lot about this stuff that, you know, it's stuff I want to be able to retain, you know, down the road someday. And it's kind of another reason why I'm kind of been starting to do this. So I guess when I say original, I guess what I mean is original looking at an aspect to how it was. I don't know everything about the little details, but all my research and stuff that I've spent countless hours doing some research on, like bolts, for instance. Making sure I get the right bolt where it belongs, right color, right finish, like parkerized, cadmium, chrome. There are a few stainless items on the bike. This is the early 40s, so I mean, stainless wasn't really, you know, out there very much yet. And chrome plating too. Chrome plating wasn't very on a lot of stuff either. 1940 Harleys ended up having this was the first year of the optional 16-inch wheels. My bike, I'm going to put 16-inch wheels on my bike, just because you look at a Harley nowadays and they got 16-inch wheels on them. Most of them do. Nothing like some of them other bikes that have like the 21-inch front end for a 21-inch wheel in the front, or 19-inch wheel in the front. So the info for this old bike was really hard to find, though I had one good source. This Bruce Palmer book here. It really goes into details. I mean, we're talking 37 to 47 knucklehead, 48 to 64 pan heads, 37 to 48 big twin side valve, which was what I got there. 37 to 45-inch solos, and 37 to 63 cervicars. It goes into detail about a lot of stuff. Like right here, I just happened to open up to the Springer front end, talking about what to look for in Springer front ends, the hardware, the rocker studs. Talks about the finish and what types to look for. Rockers, how they go on. This is showing the 45 are on the inside, 45-inch twins inside. Big twins are on the outside. This is where I got a lot of my information on how to put this front end back together. It's kind of like a Bible for 36 to 64 Harleys. Yeah, I would suggest getting one of these. They're hard to find. They're out of print still to this day. And yeah, they're hard to find. They're kind of spendy. Here's a original 1940-1947 knucklehead and flathead, 74-80-inch flat side valves. All the information for everything is in here also. This is the original one. Somebody had highlighted some stuff. So I kind of went through some of that highlighted stuff because they're making a point of it, so I want to make sure I learned about it too. So I got a lot of factory pictures of some stuff. There's some factory pictures in the back of that Arnold Palmer book that really helped me out. I've came across original bikes dating back to the 40s and 30s and stuff. Go to a well-known place to find some of that stuff would be like the Davenport here in Iowa. There's a Davenport swap meet motorcycle show. They travel around, the same group that goes with this or starts it. They go to different states and different areas. Found a lot of original bikes. Took a lot of pictures of original bikes. They said the original paint, original components and stuff on it. So, yeah. So I keep track of that kind of stuff. I've just kind of been thinking about maybe even doing a little segment about the history of the U Series engine from Harley Davidson. So, yeah. So, anyway, this is a nice opening for my build on the Springer front end. So, stay tuned. And maybe the next step here will be working on that front end. So, until next time, have a good one. Okay, so, well, here we got the third segment of the preparation here. So, this is just me putting the rockers together here. We're going to put a little bit of grease on here, pre-assembly grease on it. And of course, we're running the grease in these works all in there when it's all together. Earlier, I was talking about these retainers here. This is a Colony kit, like I was saying. This kit is 7613-2. That's their part number for their kits. It contains the retainer and a chrome acorn nut. It's pretty good from 1936 to 1948 Springer big twin front ends and all 45 front ends and all 53 through 54 Survey cars. But actually, this is actually a kit for the 39 to 48 style. The 36, 37, and 38, so I had a little bit different nut here. It wasn't really an acorn. And yeah, otherwise that's a little minute detail, but. And 41, well, I said 41, so I mean, 41 was kind of the last year of the chrome for these bikes. We had the war starting in 42. So a lot of stuff was getting transferred over from chrome to parkerized, even on the civilian bikes through this era. There were bikes built from 42 through 45 in civilian type, but they weren't very high numbered bikes. There was very little yet still because of the effort for the World War II. The production of World War II was, major. So, kind of like unlike the cars and the automotive industry, they didn't really make any civilian vehicles in 43, 44, 45. So, but when 46 came around, everybody had to have a bike when they got back from service because they loved them over there. Very popular bike. We had the Big Twins were a service bike as well. That was designated as a ULA, 74-inch war bike. Then we had the 45-inch bikes. Those are the WLA and the WLC for Canada. So, but anyway, here I'm going to put some molly grease on these parts here, and then of course slide them into there and get them all ready to go. So it's going to be kind of difficult here, so I'll probably end up seeing you next time, as I'm probably going to need two hands to do this part. So I hope you enjoy this little segment here, and maybe the next step will be we'll actually be putting this thing all together, this front end all together. So I think I covered pretty much everything on this front end, little pieces and parts, history as well. So, all right, see you out there. All right, well, here we go. Got some grease on there. Um, I greased all them up already. So, yeah. Um, so I was talking about some Springer stuff earlier. There was probably one other thing I didn't mention or didn't talk much about. Um, some of the research I found, that Palmer book, they don't mention anything about a chrome front end at all. Um, so uh, it leads me to believe that there never really was a chrome front end available in the Springer. Um, I haven't found any research proving otherwise. There was, but I have seen bikes that were chrome plated front ends on, but I think they were mostly like people's custom stuff, choppers and bobbers, or they just wanted a nice shiny front end. Um, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Chrome's awesome. I like chrome with taste. I'm not one of them kind of guys that would deck out my bike or my stuff with everything chrome anyway. Just that way. Nothing against anyone who does that. It's just that it's my preference, I suppose. Um, so, yeah, I just pretty much finishing this thing up. So, yeah, like I said just a moment ago, I think the next step will be putting this thing all together. So, just wanted to let you see that I greased it first. Of course, I'm going to run the grease in these Zerks later down the road when we get it all together, and then I run enough in to where it starts to come out the sides, so it's nice and lubed. Because when this thing functions, because this is where the axle goes through the front wheel, so when this thing functions, and it's on the two arms that come down, the spring fork in the front and then the rigid fork in the back. It just tilts like this every time it bounces, and then the springs, of course, absorb all that. So we want this to be nice and lubricated, so when it's all together, it doesn't like seize up and function weird, So, all right, I think this is a wrap on this situation here. So next time we'll be putting this all together, I believe. So this spacer here is for the puts the fender out, and then there's a lock tab that comes down, and then this nut holds the lock tab into the fender, which we'll see down the road when we put that fender on. So hopefully not too far from now. Getting kind of excited. This bike is actually getting kind of close now. So still waiting on the frame to come back yet. I sent it out to have a nice overlook of it, fix a couple things on it. A lot of tabs were missing, like for the sidecar mounts were missing, the floorboard mounts were missing, the toolbox mount was gone. So yeah, I haven't heard about that for a while, so I'll probably look into it and see where that's at. So, but anyway, we got other things going on anyway, so they told me it'd be a while anyway before I got this COVID stuff, and so anyway, we got a lot of other things going on around here to keep us busy. So yeah, well, see you again soon. So have a good one, and stay tuned for more progress here, and hope you enjoyed everything. So see you again.